Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southeast.
Nothing says baseball in Atlanta more than sunny skies and 87-degree temperatures. The Stars are out in Atlanta for the Dodgers and the Braves. Manny Machado in Atlanta for the first time as a Dodger, as Matt Kemp returns as well to face Freddie Freeman and the Bravos, who start play a game and a half behind the Phillies in the National League Eastern Division race. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Great to be home for the start of a 7-game homestand. 4 games with the LA Dodgers, who beat the Braves 2 out of 3 out west. Joe, just 2 games separate Atlanta and the Dodgers in the overall National League standings, but the way they've played over the last 3 weeks, unfortunately, there's a world of difference right now.
Yeah, but that's only because the Dodgers have played 4 more games than the Braves have. But when you look at the work over the last 3 weeks, there's quite a difference between these 2 teams and the way they've been playing. The runs per game, just about the same. The Braves offense, there's nothing wrong with it. They're scoring runs. Home runs, different story. The Dodgers are #1 in the National League in homers by a pretty good margin. Their ERA, very good. Their starting pitching especially is coming around. They've gotten some guys healthy, including Clayton Kershaw, who will work tomorrow. The Dodgers are playing well. This is a very crucial 4-game stretch for the Braves leading into the trade deadline.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Phillies are in Cincinnati to play the Reds, while the Braves have the Dodgers for 4. Rich Hill gets the ball for LA. Anibal Sanchez, who beat him out west, goes to the post for Atlanta in game 1. It's a perfect night for baseball. Let's see if Atlanta can start the homestand off in good shape. Braves Dodgers baseball. Lineups and more coming right up.
Right there next to each other. You know, I wanted to be doing whatever he was doing, hunting, fishing, on the baseball field. He was a football coach. I was out there playing football. You know, I mean, I wanted to be doing whatever he was doing, so.
This weekend, it is off to Cooperstown for Chipper Jones. Lots of great stories and on-location coverage to come throughout this entire Dodgers series. So make sure to check out Fox Sports South all weekend long for a great Braves series and complete Cooperstown coverage presented to you by Mizuno. You guys, hard to believe we are only 3 days away from the induction ceremony. Our own Paul Bird just landed in Cooperstown. He's going to be bringing you in-depth coverage all weekend. It's going to be just like you're there with the rest of Braves country celebrating number 10. But we're just going to spoil you because we're bringing you that. We're also bringing you game 1 of the Dodgers and the Braves here at Chip and Joe.
Okay, Kelsey, thank you very much. Good to have you back with us at the ballpark for game 1. Who better, Joe, to start the series in the homestand than Anibal Sanchez, whom you could argue is pitching better than any of the other Braves starters at this point.
You couldn't argue against it, that's for sure. Take a look at these numbers. His last 4 home starts, a 109 ERA, 2 walks against 22 strikeouts. Outstanding work by the 34-year-old, 6 foot 210 Venezuelan. And in July, he's worked 6 or more innings in all 4 of his starts this month. His 4 keys to pitching success, well, we just talked about the Dodgers and their home run ability. They're going to hit some homers in this series. Try to make them solos. Try not to let them have big innings because of it. And number 2, he's throwing more cutters right now than he ever has in his career, and it's been a really good out pitch for him. Hopefully he's got a good cutter tonight.
And he'll need it against a Dodger team that's got a half-game lead over Arizona at the start of play tonight. The Dodgers 56-46 on the year have Jock Peterson leading off for Dave Roberts. Manny Machado batting second, playing third base on their Toyota starting lineup card. Max Muncy has come out of nowhere to hit 24 homers. Grandal, former Brave Matt Kemp, Bellinger, Taylor, Alex Verdugo in center, and Rich Hill, the pride of the University of Michigan, is on the mound pitching and batting ninth. Mentioned LA took 2 out of 3 from the Braves in early June out west. They hit 9 solo homers in that 3-game series at Dodger Stadium, which was certainly news. So we'll see how Sanchez does. He picked up the win for Atlanta out west, the first time he's ever beaten the Dodgers in the big leagues. And a swing and a miss, and we are underway. Jock Peterson at 269, 14 homers, 38 driven in. Most of his damage has come away from Dodger Stadium, where he's a .341 hitter.
He's kind of settled that leadoff spot for them too, and gives them a lot of pop leading off ball games.
That's skied out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers come to town somewhat shorthanded. Yasiel Puig, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, all on the disabled list for Los Angeles. As Peterson awaits a 1-2 pitch. 25-year-old batter out of Palo Alto, California, is pushed off the plate. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, it was Seager's injury that ended his season very early for Tommy John surgery. That really pushed the Dodgers to make the deal for Machado.
And a swing and a miss. There's that off-speed stuff for Sanchez. Peterson down on strikes, and a good start for Anibal. 1 up, 1 down.
Good changeup. Beautiful spot. His last start was a win at Washington against the Nationals. Again, went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, and gave up a couple of homers in that game. But walked 3, struck out 8, hung in there to get the win.
So it is Manny Machado, who was the All-Star shortstop starter for the American League. Shortly thereafter traded to the Dodgers, and was told when he came to LA the calling card for the Dodger club is versatile players. As this one's promptly popped up to the right side. Ozzy's back in the lineup and at second base, puts that away, 2 out. So Machado was told, you may have to play third base from time to time. That's where he is in the lineup tonight.
And he ought to be fired up just to get out of Baltimore. He'd play anywhere.
Yeah, you're having a good year when you pick up 27 games in the standings.
Yeah, it's not a bad move. You saw the Braves defense. Charlie Culberson playing. He's back in the lineup. He's red hot, and he's playing shortstop tonight.
Former Dodger, as Max Muncy digs in. 24 home runs for Muncy. 3 of them came against the Braves in LA. He had 4 hits, 3 home runs at the new airport in LA, Dodger Stadium.
How about that? I hate to say anybody that's playing in the big leagues came out of nowhere to do what they're doing, because he's obviously been a solid player, but his numbers are crazy compared to what he's done in the past.
Coming into this season, Max Muncy had a grand total of 5 homers in the major leagues in 215 at bats. He has hit 24 homers for the Dodgers this year in 250 at bats.
A little improvement.
Sanchez with that shoulder turn gets a foul ball off Muncy's bat. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's got a good fastball tonight. When he's around 91, 92, that's a good fastball for Anibal, and he's keeping it in on the hitters. Then went away on Peterson with the changeup. Like that.
It's 2-2. You look up and down the Dodger lineup, and even on their roster, Joe, all due respect, you don't think of Chris Taylor as a guy that can hurt you. You don't think of this guy on paper, Logan Forsythe. as a guy that can hurt you. But boy, the Dodgers have been lifting and separating all year long, but not in the very first inning. An impressive start for Sanchez. 1, 2, 3 and out goes Los Angeles. To the lineup for Atlanta. He'll be nestled second in between Acuna and Freddie Freeman. And Joe, the Braves put him through his paces several hours before the game today here in Atlanta.
Well, you knew they weren't going to let him get back in the lineup until they were absolutely sure he could run the bases, cut the bases like as if he had hit a double. And everything went well. 2 thumbs up.
And as you said, it must have been in the 40s.
Yeah, it was very chilly here this morning.
Mid-stocking cap for Ozzie Albies. And the top 3 for Atlanta, really the top 4 on the road trip, are all excellent on the Toyota starting lineup card. You mentioned Charlie Culberson. Dansby has had trouble of late against left-handed pitching. Charlie's red hot, and this is the time of year where managers play hot hands.
Absolutely, they do. Good to see Acuna back in the leadoff spot. He's tearing it up there.
And Rich Hill turns it loose, and the Braves offense underway with a foul ball right back toward us, and a great catch in the front row of the third deck.
Rich Hill's 38 years old, out of Boston, 6'5", 220, a great curveball, and you got to be patient. He's one of the best starters among starters in baseball. His ERA in the first couple of innings is outstanding. After that, it starts to skyrocket.
Hill works on the extreme third base side of the rubber, and Acuna bounces that ball off his body and falls behind a ball and 2 strikes. This guy's given Atlanta all kinds of trouble. Rich Hill has, for whatever reason, been Cy Young, Randy Johnson, and Sandy Koufax all wrapped up into one.
Yep.
He's 3-0 with a sub-1 ERA pitching in Atlanta against the Braves, and 4-0 for his career. And there's the breaking ball, bounce toward third, long throw, Machado, and just in time to get him. Boy, that was close.
I love it. I love it when anybody is getting down the line like this and gets beat by a half step on just a routine play. And Machado's got a good arm too.
And he didn't lollygag on that play.
He didn't.
Acuna's great speed made that very close. So welcome back to Ozzie. The plan for Atlanta after he came out of the game in Washington: take it easy the rest of that series, take advantage of the days off, and the 2-game series in Miami with the hopes of returning tonight. And here we are. And that one's driven down the right field line, slicing away from Matt Kemp, who's playing right field tonight. And another nice catch by a fan makes it a ball and a strike. Not sure if Ozzie was worried about being Wally pipped by Charlie Culberson hitting second, but boy, oh boy, did Charlie do an excellent job filling in Ozzie's absence.
Yeah, he was brilliant. That's a pitch you can't give up on. That's a big, slow arcing curveball that has made him a lot of money in the big leagues. This is his 9th year. One of the better hooks you'll see.
I'll bet that makes a 91-mile-an-hour fastball look a whole lot stiffer than it is. So it's 1-2 for Ozzie, who has 40 hits in his last 24 games, a .385 average in that stretch. And he went fishing, didn't get it. A high fastball at 92. And Rich Hill has his first strikeout, and that brings up Freddie Freeman. And Freddie's on a nice run. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Last 11 games, a lot of extra base hits, a lot of RBIs. Had a great road trip, 7 for 19 with a homer. He's hit in 8 straight.
First pitch swing for Freddie, and that's skied toward left. Peterson gives chase, won't have a play, and it's strike one. Well, the Braves' ability to hit left-handed pitching is going to be put to the test these first 3 games of this series. You've got Hill tonight, Kershaw tomorrow, Alex Wood on Saturday. And Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis, 2 of the best left-hand hitting averages against left-handed pitchers. Hill went sidearm, and a ground ball to Muncy at second. Long throw, dug out by Bellinger, and that retires the side. Atlanta is set down in order, and we are underway, scoreless after 1. Baseball history was 7 years ago today. Remember the infamous 19-inning game against the Pittsburgh Pirates and that improbable safe call by Jerry Meals of Julio Lugo at the plate. One of the crazier nights at Turner Field. That was the infamous little red-haired girl screaming, "Let's go Pirates," into the wee hours of the morning.
6+ hours were played. Dodgers just had a game like that in Philly.
16-inning game.
5 hours and 50 minutes.
And it's just Monty Grandal, the catcher, leads off and takes a strike to even the count.
This guy's had a good road trip for him. It started in Milwaukee and went to Philly. He's hit 3 homers, 6 for 16.
And 2 of his homers this season have come against the Braves. Grandal was 16 of them so far in 2018. He leads off the second in a scoreless game. And there's the off-speed pitch by Sanchez. It is such a treat to watch this man pitch. I can't say it enough. His ability to make really good hitters take really bad swings is a sight to behold.
Oh,
that was close.
Grandal was leaning. Two-seamer, like it missed.
as did that outside, and there's the first Dodger base runner. Grandal walks. So Matt Kemp is coming up. The former Brave has had a resurgent year with the Dodgers. You might say Matt Kemp is the comeback player of the year in the National League after a very disappointing 2017 with the Braves. Kemp hitting .315, 17 homers, 64 RBIs. Didn't get that. Strike one.
1 for 8, 4 Ks against Sanchez in his career. But what a first half and beyond Matt Kemp has had.
Played 115 games for the Braves last year, hit 19 homers, drove in 64.
He's got 64 RBIs right now.
And a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is Matt's second go round with the Dodgers. He got to the big leagues with them for the first time in 2006. Played in LA through the end of the 2014 season, then went to the Padres. And a double play ball. There's 1 and there's 2. Sanchez got 2 for the price of 1. Kemp has now hit 9 double plays, and the bases are clear for Bellinger. 2 outs.
Charlie Culberson's going to get fined. Guys in the dugout are already on him. Nice feed, got the double play. Charlie was headed to the dugout. He thought the inning was over.
Was he really?
Yeah. 2, 3, 2. Yeah. Okay.
It happens to everybody. Here's Bellinger. Bellinger's been a feast or famine hitter. 5 for 23 of late with 9 strikeouts. He too with 17 homers. Yeah, if you don't have 14 or more, you almost can't play for the Dodgers. Peterson has 14 homers. Machado with 24, going back to his days in Baltimore. Muncy 24. Grandal 16 homers. Kemp 17. Bellinger 17. They've hit 139 long balls this year. And as Joe said, 98 of those 139 homers have been solo shots. That's slicing out a play left side. It's 2-2.
He had a great season last year when he got called up. 39 and 97 for homers and RBIs. Then in the postseason against Houston, a little different story. He was 4 for 28 with 17 strikeouts. The Astros found some spots and they wore it out. And as I recall, a lot of them were breaking balls down and in that he was chasing and swinging over the top of.
And the ball had a step toward the dugout. Thought that was strike 3. Instead, it's a full count. And a swing and a miss. Change got Bellinger. 2 strikeouts for Anibal. A walk, a double play, and a whiff. Nothing doing in the Dodgers' second. Nick Markakis will lead off for Atlanta. Still scoreless in game 1. Big crowds expected all weekend for this 4-game series. Here's a live look at the Chop House Gate from our Xfinity cam here at SunTrust Park. The battery is a-buzzing, and speaking of taking a buzzing, Nick Markakis will stand in. As you see, our Zaxby's indescribably good play. As we said, 3 straight left-handed starters facing Atlanta in this 4-game series.
And 4 if you go back to the last game in Miami with Chen. But they handle lefties just fine for the most part. Average on base and slugging, all in the top 3. I thought you meant that Nick got a haircut.
Oh, did he ever? Wow. I mean, I was in the Dodger clubhouse before the game. I walked out, saw the Braves taking batting practice, and Nick was in the cage, and it was immediately noticeable.
I said, what's going on with this? He said, it's hot. Which is like 3 pages of dialogue for Nick. It's all buzzed off.
Fly ball toward Kemp in right. And Matt makes the play for the first out.
And I told him, and Kevin Seitzer was standing there, I said, after getting all your hair cut off, if you go 0 for 20, we're going to buy you a wig.
But he said it's hot. That's exactly what
Said it's hot. There it is.
Oh, man.
The summer cut.
Well, is he auditioning for Napoleon Dynamite too? He wants to be Pedro Sanchez, who did the same thing?
Could be.
He had such a great hairdo working in the first half.
Yes, he did. Had a little flow.
So a new look for Markakis. Here's Kurt Suzuki. Batting .264 on the year. Another pop up. This one over the Braves dugout and into the seats for a strike. Kurt's in a dry spell. He's 3 for his last 29 at the plate. See the shift on for Suzuki. You mentioned earlier, Joe, that with Hill and his curveball, it's a pitch you can't give up on, and you have to be patient. How do you do that as a hitter?
Well, you've just got to stay back the best you can. As we were talking about the first couple of innings, he's awfully tough. But a 5+ ERA after that. And it could be because the hitters get a little better timing. They see the breaking ball better because it is slow.
Well, would you say, like Anibal Sanchez in this era of Major League Baseball, especially from the pitching side, that Rich Hill might be kind of an outlier in a cutter slider generation of pitchers? His out pitch is that big curve.
Somewhat. That's why he's still around. You know, I thought he got I don't know what it was. It caused them to take him out of the game. You see those numbers. You see, okay, maybe by the 3rd time through the order, he struggles a little bit. He had a start against the Cubs last year in the postseason. That was phenomenal.
There's a line drive that beats the shift. Kurt Suzuki has the game's first hit.
And that was on a curveball. But he'd gone 5 innings, gave up 1 run, struck out 8 guys, and they yanked him, and he was none too happy about it. That one didn't have quite the lollipop hump in it. It was a little flatter, a little more of a 3/4 diagonal coming into Kurt, who's been hitting into some tough luck.
But he's rewarded here with the game's first hit. Charlie Culberson is our SunTrust Confidence Player. Why not? Great job in any role as a Braves starter tonight at shortstop.
I mean, he's got to be a nominee for the SunTrust Player of the Month for the Braves, the way he has stepped in.
10 for his last 19, including a home run. That's bumped his average up to .288. And a ball and a strike. Again, Brian Snitker playing a hot hand and knowing how tough Rich Hill has been on the Braves, and Dansby Swanson hitting .212 against left-handed pitchers. Chance for Charlie to get some extended time. Machado to second for 1. The relay to first is late. And Culberson at first with 2 outs. Suzuki forced. And Johan Camargo's coming up.
Nice play there by Machado. having to charge and then throw back across his body.
Now it's time for our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. Team leader in RBIs and 43 in total. And Camargo with a 5-game hitting streak. He's got 8 hits in that stretch. Johan hit a home run against the Dodgers out west. One of his 10. And hitting .280 is a right-hand hitter. There's that slow curve, waited on but fouled away. And the count now 1-2. Cubs were winners today. They beat Arizona 7-6.
Wow, that was a good comeback.
And Arizona is now tied with LA atop the division race. They'll await the outcome of this one tonight to see their fate, first or second out west. And he's swinging a miss, takes care of Camargo and Atlanta in the second. Kurt Suzuki has the game's first hit, and no score after 2.
Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
No score after 2. Welcome back to SunTrust Park. Taylor Verdugo and Rich Hill coming up against Anibal Sanchez, who struck out a couple and has allowed just one LA base runner, that on a leadoff walk 1 inning ago. Taylor with 12 homers and a .341 lifetime hitter against the Braves. So beware of this man playing shortstop tonight. And didn't get it. A swing and a miss.
He's another guy, kind of like Muncy. He was the 2017 version of Muncy for the Dodgers. Kind of a journeyman when they got him from Seattle. Made some changes in his swing. And what did he have? A good year last year.
He had 1 major league homer prior to last season when he hit 21 with the Dodgers in 140 games. And that's smoked, and Culberson can't corral it cleanly, and Chris Taylor's aboard to lead off the 3rd. And Taylor, by the way, hit 3 homers in postseason play for LA.
That was smoked. I'm guessing it was a base hit. It was.
So here's Alex Verdugo, 21 years old, a second-round pick out of Tucson, Arizona. He was on his way to Arizona State before signing with the Dodgers.
Talk about a guy who's relaxed at the plate. He almost looks like he's not quite ready.
Bat just laying comfortably on his left shoulder. Wide open batting stance. And that's lifted toward right. A more aerodynamic Nick Markakis is over to make the play. And Taylor will scamper back to first on the flyout, 1 man down. And here's the pitcher, Rich Hill. He's 1 for 19 with 7 strikeouts. Hard to believe Rich Hill has just 53 career wins, and I'm not minimizing the 53 wins, but as you said, he's been around a long time. He started with the Cubs. He's been with Baltimore, Boston, Cleveland, the Yankees, Boston has the force at second. Nice play. Freeman erases Taylor, and Hill's going to have to run the bases. Oakland and now LA for Rich Hill.
That was a great attempt at the bunt for a base hit, but Freddie's holding the runner on, and it really backfired because Freddie's got a good arm. He cuts down Taylor, and as you said, now Hill's got to run.
That's something you almost never see in a major league game anymore. Actual contact between a middle infielder and a sliding base runner.
Yes, the calming of confrontations.
Well,
there's another word for it, but I can't use it.
Yep. Well, the man that's thought to be largely responsible for that is in the ballpark. That's Chase Utley, whose hard slide took out with the Mets Ruben Tejada in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Broke his leg. 0-1 pitch.
Do you know how many broken legs, torn up knees, ankles, spiked players there were in the first 140 years of baseball?
I'll bet more than one.
Yes. You know how many catchers got run over at home plate, got knocked silly, suffered injuries, players who got crushed trying to run over catchers?
Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
Before Buster Posey.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Bobby Valentine was talking about that the other day, and it really struck me, and I'm paraphrasing, but the no slide rule or the sanitization of that play at second base has taken away so much of the beautiful athleticism of the game. I'm not advocating anybody get hurt, but the ballet of a second baseman or shortstop using the bag as a defense, trying to jump out of the way of a charging base runner, all that's going away, and that's where some of your most athletic players are, playing second base or shortstop, and now all that disappears. Fly ball center. Ender got an excellent jump, and he'll make the catch shy of the warning track to retire Jock Peterson. No runs, a hit, a man left. Bottom part of the order up for Atlanta, still scoreless.
By Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. By Delta Airlines. And by Synovus, the bank of here.
No score. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Ender Inciarte will get things started for the Braves. And as he watches Rich Hill finish his warm-ups, we invite you to manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. And everyone is enjoying a beautiful night here at SunTrust Park. Game number 99 for the Braves.
Rich Hill has handled left-handers real well this year. Only a .214 average against him by lefties, but he has given up 11 homers, although none to a left-handed batter all year.
Ender came out of the break in good fashion, 7 for his last 17, and takes a strike. His average slowly climbing. It's up to .249 for the year. 6 homers, 36 driven in. There's the slow breaking ball. It's popped up. Machado was creeping in, thinking Ender might try to bunt against the lefty.
I've told you this a lot of times before. Lefty that's got a good hook and he's pitching to lefties. You can almost go up there just sitting on it, waiting for it. Might take you a couple of at-bats, but they're going to show it to you and try to make you look bad.
And he's done that a couple of times. Ender, Markakis, and Freddie Freeman. So the left-hand hitters, beware. He's not afraid to drop down on you. There's the breaking ball, but it's hit to right and right at Kemp. And there's out number 1.
Well, he changed his style a little bit there. He paused, then went sidearm, but everything else from the sidearm delivery had been a fastball. That one was a slow breaker.
So here's Anibal. Let's see if he can pick up his first hit. Just like that, it's 0-2. Other Eastern action tonight. Miami's hosting the Nationals. That's a 3-1 game in the 4th inning. There's an amazing story about the Nationals today.
Miami's winning.
Yep.
Okay.
Cut on and miss. 3-1 Marlins. It was said that the Nationals are going to evaluate their performance this weekend against the Marlins and decide if they're going to be sellers at the All-Star break. Remember, they acquired Kelvin Herrera. It's a good thing they did with Sean Doolittle out. But who would have thunk the Washington Nationals might be considering dumping salary and looking ahead to 2019?
Well, you just said there are roughly 62 games left, a third of the season. They are 6 games back. Got to climb over a couple of teams, or 3 if you think about the wild card. But to think that you're putting all your eggs in one 4-game series basket, you know, there might be a lot happened with Phillies and the Braves.
There's the slow curve way high. It might have a lot to do with the Nationals pitching, which has not been good, as we know. They just had to put Steven Strasburg back on the disabled list with what was called a cervical nerve impingement. And tonight they've got Tommy Malone pitching against Dan Straley. The Nationals starting pitchers since June 10th have an ERA of .599. And that includes Max Scherzer. So if you're not pitching, if Bryce Harper's not hitting, and you're not really gaining any ground, and for Washington, who's lost 25 of 37 games, they don't have a lot of time left. Not only with the Phillies and Braves, but to try to leapfrog over 5 or 6 teams in the wild card.
Sorry, I wouldn't give up. I'm not going to give up. I'm not the type to say, hey, we're the defending Eastern Division champs. We have the talent. We have the people. I guess it wasn't Dusty Baker's fault after all, huh?
There you go. So Rich Hill strikes out Acuna. That's 4 strikeouts for Hill, and we head to the 4th inning.
Fourth inning, and earlier today, manager Brian Snitker announced the Braves' pitching plans going forward. So as scheduled, Mike Fultonevich will start tomorrow for the Braves, and originally scheduled for Saturday was Sean Newcomb, but they decided to slot Max Fried in there. They're going to push Sean Newcomb back a day, and Julio Teheran will go on Monday. Now, Chip and Joe, Fried make a rehab start on Monday with the Braves, and he looked great. He went 6 2/3, only allowing 1 hit, no run, and 10 strikeouts on 86 pitches. So they're hopeful that blister is nipped.
I shook hands with him today, Kelsey, and then I said, I don't want to look at that hand, your right hand. I want to see the left hand.
Yes.
And he said, no, all good. And he showed me, you know, the pads on his fingers, and all looked ready to go.
Well, hopefully that'll be the case. And he'll face off with former Brave Alex Wood on Saturday. Dodgers have not announced their starter on Sunday. As Kelsey just said, it'll be Sean Newcomb for the Braves. That one a 135 start. So here's Machado, 2-0, and hammered out of play.
Interesting that Rich Hill has, you were talking about the teams he's been with, but only 50-some wins, 53 wins. Well, some of that has been injury related,
right,
throughout his career, but in recent years, a real problem with blisters, including a stint this year having to deal with it.
Swing and a miss. Well, the Dodgers went out and got Manny Machado. He is a free agent at the end of the season. As the pitch is cued foul.
Beauty.
Right by the Braves on deck circle. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes. So LA is going to get to see Machado up close. This is really their recruiting pitch for him over the final 2 months. See how you like LA, see how you like Dave Roberts, see how you like the team, see how far they can go. And he'll have a chance to play third and shortstop, shortstop being his preferred position. See how it works out. So far he's hitting .259 in a Dodger uniform. That's going to go down after an 0-for-2 start tonight.
I love it. Love watching the guy work. Love watching him pitch. Threw him a real slow breaking ball that he hit right off the end of the bat and made Manny smile and kind of laugh about it. He ain't laughing now. Paints that inside corner with 92.
So Muncy's the batter. He lined out to Ozzie in the first inning. Muncy 0-for-1.
This is no knock on anyone in the Braves rotation, because there are a lot of different qualities about some of the Braves pitchers that are very enjoyable. But I like watching this guy pitch. We've already said that before tonight. I love watching this guy pitch. He's showing everybody how to do it.
And he's reinvented himself on the fly. That's
He's adjusted. He sure has.
really amazing, too, at this stage of his professional career. I don't know that there'll ever be a pitcher like Greg Maddux to that extreme, but it is fun to think along with Anibal like you used to with Greg. What pitch, when and where, movement. As Freddie scoops that one up on the line and at the bag, Muncy's 0 for 2, 2 outs.
Muncy hustling down the line too.
Love it.
Ball just skimmed right over the top of the base.
So you see the change in Anibal Sanchez's arsenal, as you said of him and what he said about himself. He was kind of hard-headed in his final days in Detroit.
Very stubborn, yeah. And he's attributing a lot of the success to that cutter and the improved use of it.
But it goes to show you, you don't have to throw 99. That certainly helps.
Yeah, but he's hitting spots.
Right.
And if he misses, he's just barely missing and getting swings.
Grandal walked. He's the first of 2 Dodger base runners. Make that 3 Dodger base runners. Forgot about Hill, who reached on the force play. If only 1 hit.
Excuse me, Chip. If the Braves weren't in a position that they're in right now and fighting for the division lead and title, and maybe the teams still are, but you know they'd be knocking on the Braves' door and calling, wanting to know about his availability.
No doubt. Right at Markakis in right field. And that takes care of Grandal and the Dodgers. 3 up, 3 down, zipping right along, no score.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by slowing down behind the wheel.
Well, partner, this is where Rich Hill sees his opponent's batting average make a gigantic leap. Atlanta about to start its 2nd time through the order against him in a scoreless game here in the 4th.
We'll see what adjustments the Braves are going to make. I'm sure Rich Hill feels like he doesn't have to change too much.
He got Ozzie to chase a 92-mile-an-hour fastball last time, and this one's popped up toward the Braves dugout, and that one is safely into the seats. Strike 1 for the Braves second baseman. There's that big jump. The Dodgers have been in recent years, Joe, a club that doesn't like their starters to face a lineup a 3rd time.
Oh, they're eating up with the sabermetrics and analytics. They are covered up in it. And A lot of it, they attributed a lot of their success last year to it, which was fair, and the same goes this year. Go by the numbers.
Well, so far the only numbers on the board are a single hit for LA, a single hit for the Braves. And that ball caught Grandal. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dodgers have the top starters ERA. They've hit the most homers in the league. They're tied for first at the moment out west. If there is a question mark on their club right now, it's getting the ball consistently to Kenley Jansen. Last year they had Brandon Morrow, who did such a great job for them. They signed Tom Kohler, former Marlin, trying to replace Morrow. Swing and a miss takes care of Ozzie. That's 5 strikeouts for Hill. They gave Tom Kohler $2 million. He's going to have shoulder surgery, and he'll cash a $2 million check without having thrown a pitch this year.
I asked around about what the Dodgers' needs were now that they had Machado, and the consensus was bullpen, and not just one, but maybe 2 pieces for their bullpen.
Freddie grounded out to second his first time, and again Hill goes sidearm, and that one's into the seats out of play.
But I'll say this, that if the Dodgers, or any other team for that matter, want to try to acquire a player, they're going to have to beat the Yankees to them, because the Yankees are just trading for everybody in the league.
Yes, they are. They got Jay Happ today. They got Zach Britton yesterday. And another shot to right. Muncy can't get it. Shift that. Love it. Second Atlanta hit.
That's pretty accurate, wasn't it?
Yep.
Dropping it in between them.
And Bellinger, how do you do that?
That's funny. Well, one thing, you don't swing from your heels on every swing. Freddie kept his hands back and still hooked it.
122 hits for Freeman, now a 9-game hitting streak. And here's old reliable Nick Markakis. Yeah, the Yankees are 5.5 games behind Boston. Like you said, there's 60 some odd games left. Still a lot of time. But those acquisitions do a couple of things. Number one, they bolster the New York roster, but they also keep those guys away from the Red Sox or Astros.
That's my point. That they're just going to try to keep everybody. They may not even be on the 40-man roster. Let me send them AAA.
That's it to right. Kemp broke back, but now saunters in and makes the play for the second out. Well, the Yankees know they only can have 25 guys on their major league roster, right?
No.
Man, oh man.
That was pretty cute right there. Kemp bluffed like he was going to throw behind Freddie, and when Freddie looked out at him, made Matt laugh.
There were a couple of trades earlier today. Joaquim Soria went to the Milwaukee Brewers from the White Sox.
Good pick up there.
And Martin Maldonado, the Gold Glove winner behind the plate for the Angels last year, was traded to Houston. And that's insurance for Brian McCann, who's still coming back from his knee surgery.
Right. Good move on their part.
Trade deadline the 31st. Today is July 26th. Kurt Suzuki has the first Atlanta hit and couldn't stop his swing. No balls and a strike.
His fastball is a little bit like Sanchez. 91 or 90, and it, as you said earlier, looks a lot harder because of the slow curve, and he can pitch up in the zone with it like that. He's no kid. He's 38. He's been around.
He's pounding the strike zone, isn't he?
Yeah.
50 pitches, only 12 balls.
A lot of swings and misses already, too.
To third, and Machado vacuums that up and throws to Muncy at the second base bag, and we're headed to the 5th inning. Great pace to this game because the pitching's been excellent. Sanchez and Hill, no scores. We head to the 5th inning. And the ball will face Kemp, Bellinger, and Chris Taylor. The 5th inning, as always, brought to you by Audi Q5. Matt Kemp hit to a double play his first time up. And a called strike. Matt Kemp had a couple of home runs on Sunday. And there was an amazing stat in their notes. With his first home run on Sunday, he broke a tie with Jackie Robinson for the number of extra base hits in LA Dodger history.
Yeah, that's cool.
That now has 466 extra base hits. He's 4 away from passing Ron Cey for 10th place all time on the LA Dodger list.
There's something about homers hit in a Dodger uniform too. I think he's close to 200 or already has hit 200.
He's got 197.
Okay.
Steve Garvey 211, Ron Cey 228. Eric Karros has the most homers as a LA Dodger. Karros, the
I did not know that.
Fox TV star with fantastic hair, has 270 of them.
Well, congratulations to him on both.
Not said with a tinge of jealousy.
So, for those of us that are hair impaired.
Leadoff walk for Matt Kemp starts the top of the 5th inning. Second one of those for Sanchez. He walked Grandal to start the 2nd. And here's Bellinger. This has got to be an uncomfortable lineup to pitch to because the Dodgers will strike out, but every single one of their hitters is into that launch angle mode. Lift and launch. Bellinger included. That back knee drops and it is flying on the uppercut.
Who did we just see do that with Miami? Who were we watching? Oh, Dietrich.
Oh, Derek Dietrich. Yeah. Pretty similar results. Dietrich closing in on 100 strikeouts. Bellinger's already there. He's got 103 now and 10 strikeouts in his last 24 at bats.
For the teams that don't think strikeouts are any big deal. The 3 true outcomes, is that what it's called?
Yeah, walk, homer, strikeout.
Yeah. How many strikeouts are too many? Is there, you think there's a number where they get to and they go, wait a minute, now this isn't working too well?
One ball, 2 strikes. Little number hits slowly towards short. Charlie's going to make the play to first, and it gets away from Freeman, and that will go into the Atlanta dugout. And the Dodgers will have runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out.
He had to hurry, that's for sure, but the throw really took off on him. Freddie was trying to keep his foot on the bag and get the out.
Well, Bellinger put the ball in play and got 2 bases as a result. So an infield hit and a throwing error. 2nd and 3rd for Taylor. Nobody out. Well, I haven't updated it, but we talked about this on the road trip. In that Miami series, there were 9 teams in the National League that had more strikeouts than hits. 9 of the 15. And I would venture a guess that none of those 9 are in playoff contention. I'll have to check it for sure. No balls and a strike. Ball could use a whiff right here, and he's quickly ahead of the Dodger shortstop.
Yeah, strikeout would be ginormous here.
Up the middle. Ozzy's going to have one play, and he makes it to first. And the ball was inches away from knocking that down and saving a run. But Taylor puts the ball in play. That scores Matt Kemp with the game's first run, and the Dodgers strike first here in the 5th.
Change up, and all he did was put his bat on the ball. He just stuck his bat out there and made contact, and it got the run in. That's 49 RBIs for him.
There's a little looper into shallow left off Verdugo's bat. That's going to score Bellinger. It's 2-0 LA. The 8th place hitter, Verdugo, has his second RBI.
Oh boy, what an inning. Infield drawn in. That's an easy pop-up out if they're not in.
Just enough to serve it softly into left. So here's Rich Hill. A walk, an infield hit, a 2-base error, a ground out, and a soft single makes it 2-0 LA. Hill bunted into a force out back in the 3rd inning, so he's 0 for 1. And didn't get that. Just a quick glance at that more strikeouts than hits stat. A little surprising. The Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies, and Arizona all have more strikeouts than hits. And those 4 teams very much in playoff contention. The Nationals also in that category. The Braves coming into play, 898 hits, 778 strikeouts. The only team with fewer strikeouts than the Braves, the Pirates, who have 776. Hill with 2 strikes got the bunt down, and the flip to first is in time. Verdugo to second and back to the top of the order. So the Braves need 3 to win tonight. They trail 2-zip in the top of the 5th inning. And Jock Peterson, the batter, 0 for 2. So much is made of the Dodgers and their ability to hit home runs, but the way their offense has played tonight, it's kind of like a playoff game. What do you say in your postseason assignments, Joe, about leadoff walks or even 2-out walks, their rallies? Well, the leadoff free pass, an error. A big part of LA's 2-run outburst here. Reds have tied the Phillies 4-4 in the 4th at the Great American Ballpark. As Jock Peterson pops one up. Long run for Charlie. He's drifting out, and he'll make the catch. And that retires the side. 2 runs, 2 hits, a costly error and a walk. Halfway home in Atlanta, 2-0 Dodgers. By T-Mobile on this beautiful Thursday night in Atlanta. Let's celebrate strikeout number 3,000 for the legendary Greg Maddux, who we hope will be in Cooperstown this weekend to help celebrate his teammate Chipper Jones' induction into the Hall of Fame.
I'm sure he will be. It'll be a great weekend.
Well, let's see if Atlanta can get something going against Rich Hill. The Braves have had a couple of base runners, but no real threats against the LA lefty. Charlie Culberson, Johan Camargo, and Ender will get things started. And Culberson takes ball one.
I was listening to one of the guys on MLB Network, Radio Network, really hammering the fact that the Hall of Fame induction should be moved to a time where there's not so much focus on trade deadline. That is the day before the deadline this year for the induction, and most of the accounts of what's going on in baseball are dealing with potential trades and not so much for the induction. And it has some merit.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, to be quite honest with you. That's fouled back to the screen. Is the Hall of Fame induction later than normal this year?
I heard at 11 a.m. You know, with all the guys. I heard Jack Morris speaking today, and where the speeches have been asked to normally be around 20 minutes, they've asked these guys to cut it to 10.
Wow.
And he said he was making his list of people that he wanted to mention, just writing names down.
That's hit towards short. Taylor's got it, loads up, and throws a strike. One out.
Good throw, good arm. He said, I just went through and timed reading the names of people I thought of. Took me 20 minutes. He said, so I've got a little checking to do there.
He needs to hire the guy that does those automobile disclaimer commercials. The guy that reads the stuff at the beginning and the end of the commercial. So Camargo hits with the bases empty, one out. I don't know if the All-Star break was played a few days later than normal this year, and as such maybe push the Hall of Fame stuff back a few days, if not a week. But it does run up against the trade deadline. I hadn't thought of that.
This person was suggesting maybe do it in September, early September, where the weather's good. You don't have to worry too much about the heat, which sometimes plagues the induction in late July. Although I've heard it's supposed to be very nice this weekend up there. I don't know. I'd never thought of it either, so I thought it had some merit.
Two nothing LA in front. Camargo, then Ender coming up against Rich Hill, who's pitching a beauty. And that one's hit through. Camargo with a one-out single. Dodgers had him shifted that way, but neither Muncy nor Taylor could come up with it cleanly. And the Braves have their third hit for Camargo, a 6-game hitting streak.
Big hook. Found a hole. Jan Hartzog tells me that the Hall of Fame induction last year was on the 30th of July, the day before.
Yeah, it's fouled off the screen by Ender. Strike one.
He also had a note over here. You were talking about those strikeouts versus hits. The 1991 worst to first Braves struck out 901 times, 906 times. There are already 7 teams. 7 teams have already struck out more than 906 times. We're in July.
Well, we start action tonight in the National League alone. 13,200 strikeouts, 12,833 hits. The ball is not in play enough. Good patience there. Ender fought that off and stays alive 0-2. It'd be amazing to hear what Tony Gwynn or Ted Williams or Joe DiMaggio would have to say about how differently the game is played now. On one hand, you have to credit the pitching. I think it's safe to say that pitchers are throwing harder now than they did from top to bottom on a major league staff. More guys throwing 95 late in the game. The use of bullpens and those fresh arms. This one's popped towards second and playable for Muncy. I've said to you a million times, I don't know how anybody ever gets a hit, quite frankly. When you're trying to do something late innings and you've got fresh arms coming out throwing 99 miles an hour, good luck. So I think that, in fairness, accounts for some of it.
And seeing a different guy every time up.
Yeah. I mean, look at what Tampa Bay's done with their opener and the havoc that's wreaked on offenses, including the Braves down in Tampa Bay. I think the Rays have the best ERA in the game since they've gone to that first pitcher opener deal where he pitches an inning, maybe two.
You know, that strikes me kind of funny in terms of what they're doing now. They just traded Andrisi, one of their starters, to Arizona. Supposedly Chris Archer's on the block, and yet they were shorthanded with starting pitching, so they're using their bullpen for 1 day a week. I guess they've got a bunch of guys ready to go in the minors.
They're going to go with a 17-man pitching staff, Joe, over the final 2 months. Timeless moment. Albert Pujols hit his 631st career homer last night, passing Ken Griffey Jr. for 6th on the all-time home run list. He is some kind of hitter.
That took forever to come down. What a career.
Already over 3,000 hits for Pujols. He's got a couple more years left on that deal with the Angels. He's got an outside shot to get to 700 homers if he can stay healthy. As we rejoin you from SunTrust Park in Atlanta, 5 innings in the books. Dodgers lead 2-0. And as Anibal gets ready for his 6th inning of work, let's take a look at our landmark Always Best Always feature. The 6th inning's been a telling number for the Braves starting staff.
34-12 when their pitcher goes at least 6 innings. Great ERA, great opponent's average against. And this is his 6th inning tonight, although at least one, if not both of the runs were unearned last inning.
And a tough frame ahead for him. He's got Machado, Muncy, and Grandal for LA. Machado 0 for 2 tonight, trying to extend an on-base streak to 26 consecutive games. And he just waylaid on that baby, and he'll be on base for about 45 seconds. A line drive homer by Machado on the first pitch.
I believe that's his first homer as a Dodger.
Another solo homer for LA. They're 10th against Atlanta this year. And they extend their lead to 3-0. 25 homers for Machado between Baltimore and LA.
First for him in a Dodger uniform, his second at SunTrust Park this year. That was a laser. Remember, he got fooled badly last time up. Not this time.
He wasn't going to get to 2 strikes.
Nope.
So here's Muncy. He's 0 for 2. 10 homers in his last 27 games, and Muncy scored an incredible 23 runs in that stretch. What a find for Los Angeles, and what an acquisition. Manny Machado. That's hit into the shift, and Ozzy's got it for out number 1. Muncy's 0 for 3. And here's Grandal. Grandal has walked and has flied out. And that one's ricocheted off Sanchez. And Grandal is in safely at first. Let's see if Anibal's all right.
Looked like he got his right arm, didn't it?
Hope it's the arm, not the hand. Oh, he got his
glove.
glove up.
Glove.
That'll get your attention. And Grandal aboard with an infield hit. And that brings up Matt Kemp. Phillies lead the Reds 5-4 in the 5th. Mets 7, Pirates 4 in the 6th. Washington 3, Miami 3. Also top of the 6th inning down at Marlins Park. Here it's 3-0 Dodgers. Rich Hill in cruise control. He's allowed 3 hits. And that just missed. A ball and a strike. Kemp an all-star this year. Had a 5-for-5 game on July 2nd. 26 multi-hit games. And 10 games of 3 or more hits. Truly a renaissance season for the former Brave. And the Braves sent to Los Angeles for Charlie Culberson. Scott Kazmir. As a throw to Ozzy at the second base bag, and he turned it.
They may have a look at both places. I'm not sure if Ozzy kept his foot on the bag. He looked back, kicked it.
The call was out. The throw at first was also an out call. For the moment, it's a double play. Dave Roberts and his staff are going to check this out. Let's see if Dave's going to challenge. He's going to have to go out, I would assume, and tell the umpires which call he wants to challenge. Because you're right, he's got his choice. And he's pointing at first base.
Yep. Beat it.
So Kemp's going to be safe at first, we believe. Grandal's going to be out at second base. There'll be 2 outs with Kemp aboard at first. But to finish that thought, The Braves traded Matt Kemp after disappointing last year to LA. Included his salary for next year in that deal. In return, the Braves got Adrian Gonzalez, whom they immediately waived. Gonzalez then went to the Mets before he was sent packing. Scott Kazmir, Brandon McCarthy, and Charlie Culberson were the principals that came back to the Braves. And Brandon McCarthy and Culberson, the only two left on the Braves roster from that deal. And Brandon's still out west working on his knee, which has been problematic, and we hope to see him sooner rather than later.
Not sure what's taking so long on this ruling from New York, but we get surprised constantly what happens in New York.
Yep, he's safe. So the flying feet of Matt Kemp. I'm sure he's laughing about that. Somebody in the Braves dugouts chirping at him.
You know what, though? That was a sharp comebacker.
Sure was.
And the throw to second was a good throw, even though Ozzie had to look back to make sure he kicked the bag. You were talking about consideration for Comeback Player of the Year award. I have zero thoughts about that with regard to somebody like Matt. Comeback Player of the Year to me is a guy that's been hurt and sat out a year, or overcame Tommy John or something and came back to have a great year. Not a guy that hit 19 homers last year. And is having, and I'm happy for Matt that he's having such a good year. It's nothing against him. It's just, where did he come back from?
Well, he came back from being 40 pounds overweight is where he came back from.
That's
and
true.
I agree with you. I understand that they were splitting hairs, but yeah, there's certainly more sentiment for a guy that comes back from a career-threatening injury as opposed to what Matt went through with the Braves last year.
Or even a guy that hit 205 and hit 5 homers and played a lot, and you can't figure what was wrong with him, and he comes back the next year and has a great year.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll vote for that guy too.
And that was what was so perplexing about Matt. I mean, his season just went off a cliff for the Braves.
He was hurt. Did have some hamstring issues.
Right.
Cut into a season.
And so what the Braves did was they moved Matt Kemp, took those big salaries on for this year in the hopes of freeing up all that payroll for what's supposed to be a gigantic free agent class at the end of this season. We'll see how that pans out here in Atlanta. Machado hits a leadoff homer in the 6th. Dodgers have Kemp at first with 2 outs. They enjoy a 3-0 lead. Bellinger reached on that little tapper that Charlie Culberson threw away for a 2-base error. That helped lead to the first 2 LA runs. And this one's hit a mile high to right. Markakis running parallel to the warning track is going to make the play in the corner. And that retires the side. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Time for the Braves bats to go to work. Top of the order is coming up. For Atlanta, that means Ronald Acuna gets things started. Ronald's done a great job leading off of late for Atlanta, so much so that he's our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature.
8 for 16 when he was moved into the leadoff spot. Now 9 for 19 batting in the leadoff spot. Love him up there. A lot of energy. Can beat you a lot of ways. What I should have said was it was 8 for 16 on the road trip leading off.
Ronald did not face the Dodgers out in LA in June. He was coming back from his knee injury. One ball, one strike. Lifted out of play, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hill has been very economical. He has struck out 6 men. He has not walked a soul in this game.
His numbers since he came back from the disabled list with those blisters have been very good. His record's 2-2, but his ERA is 2.95. Improving on that tonight.
Well, since those blisters, as you mentioned, Joe, that's now 23 innings, 31 strikeouts, and 8 walks. And he's off to a flying start here in the 6th inning. Stick around for the stretch. It's presented by Advance Auto Parts. We'll bring that to you after the Dodgers hit in the top of the 7th inning.
His season high in strikeouts is 10. He did that against Colorado in late June. But his last 3 starts, he has struck out 5 in 5 innings, 7 in 7 innings, and 9 in 6 innings in his last 3.
Pretty good.
And
7 so far tonight. And he's got Albies behind. He's got Ozzie twice. And it's strike after strike after strike for Hill. 73 pitches, only 17 pitches out of the strike zone. Contact. Taylor at short. Long throw and the stretch in time. 2 out. So Albies puts it in play, but he's retired for Freddie Freeman, who extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a 4th inning hit.
that's the kind of play, ground ball, that Ozzie would really test his leg on, trying to leg out an infield hit.
Big crowd here tonight, hoping for something to cheer about. We got the big Avett Brothers concert afterward. So far, the music has been played by the Dodgers. They lead 3-0, and Hill gets ahead of Freeman. At least evens the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I didn't step out into the outfield today, but just on appearances with concerts that have taken place here at SunTrust Park while the team was out of town. Kudos to Ed Mangan and his crew. The place looks great.
Yeah, you really have to look hard to see any evidence of the stage work out there in center field. A few lighter patches of grass where the stage was supported. But the turf looks to be in terrific shape. As the Dodgers shift on Freeman, and the ball knocked away. Freeman's going to stay aboard as Bellinger can't hang on to the baseball. There's a break. And Freddie's aboard with 2 outs.
Watch on this replay how long Freddie waits on this. It was almost like an afterthought that he actually swung at it. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Then pulls the trigger. Knocked it out of his glove.
So a long one here would make it a 1-run game. Nick Markakis is flat out to right twice.
Waiting to see if they score that a hit. E5.
9th error for Machado. And now Markakis bats. And takes a crossfire fastball outside. Ball one. A rare 2-0 count for Hill. And a rarer 3-0 count. Just his second 3-ball count in this game, with Kurt Suzuki waiting on deck. And Markakis aboard with a 4-pitch walk after the error. So that will bring the tying run to the plate. You know, Suzuki can hit a fastball. He picked up the first Atlanta hit back in the second inning. So the first real opening for the Atlanta offense comes with 2 outs. Perfectly placed fastball, strike one. Freddie Freeman's the first Braves base runner to get to second base. He's there with 2 outs after the 4-pitch walk to Markakis. No balls and a strike. And nothing in 2.
Only 85 pitches for Hill also. First inning he's had to work from the stretch for any length of time.
And making his way through a lineup a 3rd time, which you mentioned earlier the Dodgers haven't often let him do. But he is passing the eye test in game 1 so far. He's due up 3rd in the 7th inning. So this might be his last frame. The pitch is hammered center field, pretty well hit, but Verdugo is over under and he's got it, and that retires the side. Braves have left 5 through 6 innings of play. It's 3-0 LA. Get a Chipper Jones Hall of Fame replica plaque brought to you by SunTrust. And if you're one of the first 20,000 through the gate Saturday, August 18th, you get your own Chipper Crazy Train bobblehead brought to you by Napa. Find all the Chipper details at Braves.com. Couple of news and notes around the big leagues as the Dodgers come up in the 7th inning. Aaron Judge was taken to the hospital, hit on the right wrist in the 1st inning tonight against Kansas City. He's being examined there. Told you about Jay Happ being acquired by the Yankees. Well, the Cubs made a move. They acquired Cole Hamels tonight from the Texas Rangers.
Back in the National League.
Hamels pitched very poorly in Texas, but pitched very well away from Globe Life Stadium. So the Cubs get Cole Hamels back in the league from Texas.
Huge contract. Still a lot of zeros left on that contract over the next year or two for Cole Hamels, and Cubs can certainly absorb that.
Swing and a miss for Taylor, who has an infield hit, a ground out, and an RBI.
Well, if anything's wrong with Aaron Judge, the Yankees can just go get Bryce Harper and keep going.
Well, if Miami does what they're supposed to do and wins 3 out of 4 of that series, he very well could be available. Cole Hamels at the tail end of a 6-year, $144 million contract. $23.5 million this year with a $6 million buyout for 2019. I have no idea who's responsible for the finances there, but it's interesting for the Cubs, who thought that their starting rotation was going to be pretty solid with Tyler Chatwood signed, with Quintana. Kyle Hendricks hasn't been the same. Yu Darvish has been a disastrous signing to this point. So they have to go out and get Hamels before the deadline. As that's over the inside corner, a perfect pitch. And Taylor's frozen. He's rung up. And that's 4 strikeouts for Anibal.
It's nothing like a well-located fastball. Another beauty.
So 2 more outs, then we'll send you to the stretch, presented by Advance Auto Parts. Verdugo, the batter, a blue pit, brought home the 2nd LA run back in the 5th inning. This has been a impressionist masterpiece from both starters, hasn't it? They are painting beautifully tonight. Another comebacker, and Ozzie will field with the backhand. Bad throw, and that's going to go into the camera well. Poor decision by Albies there, and Verdugo's going to take an extra base.
Well, a couple of things here that you'll watch. Fundamentally, from Anibal's standpoint, that's the 2nd time tonight. There's been one hit back to him, but he falls off the mound and not squared up. Poor choice by Ozzie to try to just make this flip and throws it away, and not expecting him to even attempt to throw. Kurt Suzuki wasn't backing up.
That's the 2nd Atlanta error, and now Rich Hill with a base hit up the middle is going to bring home Verdugo. The throw to the plate is late.
Good grief.
Only the 2nd hit of the year for Hill. And the Dodgers cash in the error and extend the lead. It's now 4-0, and that's going to be the end of the line for Anibal Sanchez.
It's a real shame.
So Anibal goes 6 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts, couple of walks, and a home run. And the Braves bullpen in play, trailing 4-zip. here in the 7th inning.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Synovus, the bank of here.
Well, tough luck for Anibal Sanchez tonight. A couple of runs in the 5th, one in the 6th, one here in the 7th. As the Braves have committed a couple of errors. The first error for Ozzie Albies, by the way, in 44 games. Dating all the way back to May the 26th when the Braves were playing the Red Sox.
And obviously upset. This is Sam Freeman, 48th game for him. Sam's pitched well, just a few too many walks mixed in there.
And Jock Peterson, the batter, he's 0 for 3 tonight. Peterson, a .341 hitter away from Dodger Stadium. It has not worked out that way to this point here at SunTrust Park, where LA took 2 out of 3 last year.
Sam pitched twice on the road trip, once in each place in Washington and Miami. An inning and 2/3, 3 hits, no runs or walks.
There's a shot into the right field corner. That'll be played off the wall. Rich Hill on his way to third base. Jock Peterson with a double. And Freeman is greeted rudely. First batter reaches against him. Peterson's first hit. That hurts in a couple of respects. Number one, lefty, but number two, first batter.
Fell behind in the count and a fastball right about belt high.
And now you got to face Muncy after Machado was intentionally walked. So LA's got him loaded. And Muncy is 0 for 3. Dodgers hitting .233 as a team against left-handed pitching. Muncy, though, not part of that problem. He's hitting them at a .323 clip with 6 homers. But he's quickly behind 0-2.
You were talking about some of their hitters and how they drop down on their back leg. He's already dropped down in his stance. Very bent leg stance, a little bit like Chris Bryant of the Cubs.
Who went to the DL today, by the way. Lingering shoulder problems for the Cubs third baseman. See if Sam can put him away. No balls, 2 strikes. He did. 3 pitches takes care of Muncy, who can't put it in play. And for the moment, it's still 4-0. Bases loaded, and now 2 outs.
You know which shoulder it was for Chris Bryant?
I don't offhand. I'll look.
Because, you know, he's got that real high one-arm finish on his swing. I wonder if it's his left.
Our pal Chan Hartzog will look that up for us. They got a 50-50 shot. And here's Grandal. Took a little while, but
yeah, it did.
Everybody's laughing. A walk and a hit for Grandal in a 4-0 game.
I was focused on that tight shot of Grandal's eyes because it looked like he might have been peeking to see where Kurt Suzuki was setting up.
Oh, really?
Left shoulder. Whew. 1 for 1.
That violates the code of ethics, isn't it? You're not supposed to look back there.
Didn't do it that time.
Especially if you're a catcher. Sometimes if that's noticed, a calling card might be sent.
It's kind of hard to calling card it though when the bases are loaded.
There you go.
Wait for the next at bat.
One ball, 1 strike. And that's taken low. Oakland's winning again tonight, 6-3. Did you know that Oakland has the lowest payroll in the major leagues? $65 million. They're a game and a half behind Seattle. In the last 30 years, the lowest payroll team has never made postseason play. And they've got a real shot.
Sure do.
Well, no place to put Grandal, who can be very picky here. 3 balls and a strike. He's in a good spot. Full count. And now the runners will get a head start. Sam's ready with his 3-2. It's hammered into left field, a base hit. Hill scores. Peterson scores. Machado on his way to third. High throw, and he held the bag. So Grandal singles home 2 more Dodger runs. They've got him at the corners with 2 out. One of the runs belongs to Sanchez. The other belongs to Sam.
Grandal's been red hot. He's up to 52 RBIs. That's why he's hitting in the cleanup spot.
So the Dodgers have broken the game open. It's 6-0. Annual Alumni Weekend, August 10th through the 12th here at SunTrust Park. We'll have a Chipper Jones pregame ceremony, alumni softball home run derby, and alumni photos on the field. All part of the great festivities put together by Greg McMichael and his staff. Go over to Braves.com and get your tickets for Alumni Weekend to see the full schedule of events. Peter Moylan will try to put out a fire and send us to the stretch here. He's got Matt Kemp. LA has scored in each of the last 3 innings. 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 3 so far here in the 7th. 5 of the runs allowed by Sanchez. Sam Freeman's allowed 1. The runners aboard Sam's responsibility here. And fouled away.
2 errors by the Braves tonight. It's on the heels of a 3-error game in Miami on Tuesday. Very uncharacteristic.
One ball, 1 strike. And way outside. A couple of big Braves fans watching the game in Metro Atlanta tonight. Scott Cockrell and Michelle Zarzaka. Michelle celebrating her 29th birthday tonight and watching the Braves and Dodgers play. 2 balls and a strike. Lifted toward right. That's pretty well hit, but Markakis onto the track is there, and that retires the side. 3 more runs for LA. They lead by 6 in the 7th. Time to stretch.
The Stretch is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts and in part by CarQuest Motor Oil.
Welcome to The Stretch, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Jerome and Nick out here on the Fox Sports set in the heart of the Battery on a night in which the Braves are going to have to rally here to come back and grab game 1 of this 4-game set with the Dodgers. But the good news at the start was seeing Ozzie Albies back in the starting lineup after sitting out after twigging that hamstring in that Washington series. Good to have him back out there, Nick.
Absolutely. You need him back in that lineup. They're about to go through a rough stretch, 32 games in 32 days. They need him healthy. They're going to make a run of this playoffs. He's a dynamic player. We know he's one of the better second basemen in the league. First All-Star appearance this year. Struggled a little bit in the month of June, but he's turned around over the last 24 games. 385, 4 homers, 22 runs scored, 15 RBIs in the last 24 games, and he's swinging the bat from both sides of the plate. That's the big thing with Ozzie Albies right now.
Yeah, and you take a look, he's one of 6 players in Major League history, younger than 21 years old, that has 20 or more homers and 75 or more runs scored before August 1st. That's one of 6 in MLB history. That is absolutely ridiculous. He's only one of 2 guys right now in the National League with 20 homers or more and 10 or more stolen bases. Trevor Story of the Rockies is the other one. That's really elite company. One of 6 in baseball history.
We didn't expect him to be this great this early. We knew he had the potential to be that. We knew he had the potential to be the top of the order type of guy. But what he's done this year, making adjustments, he has been absolutely incredible.
Let's get you back to Chip and Joe right after a quick word from our friends at Advance Auto Parts.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the
Upstairs here at SunTrust, Dodgers are skunking the Braves right now, 6-0. As Atlanta has 9 outs left, got to get something going against Rich Hill, who's going back to work out there. Why not? Boy, he has been absolutely outstanding, as has been his custom pitching against the Braves in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, 3-hit shutout, no more than 1 hit in any inning. Last inning was the first time they had 2 runners on board at one time. First, as Chip said, first time to have a guy to reach second. But now he's well into the driver's seat with a 6-run lead.
Charlie Culberson leading off. 0 for 2 is he. Camargo and Inciarte are next. Dodgers have a few guys in their bullpen walking around, but nobody throwing. Why would they? With Hill only at 88 pitches into the 7th inning. And a swing and a miss. 3 pitches takes care of Charlie. That's 8 strikeouts, 1 out. Well, Joe, this is one way you don't have to worry about getting a setup guy in the game to get to Kenley Jansen if their starters go 7 or 8 innings. And Hill has been absolutely mesmerizing tonight. 1 out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Mets, who dealt Jeurys Familia to Oakland, if they wish they'd waited a few days. You know, everybody, there was a lot of guys out there, closer types, but if Soria and Britton were out of the loop,
would that have elevated his price?
You betcha.
Well, it's been a busy day. Soria to Milwaukee, Jay Happ to the Yankees, Cole Hamels to the Cubs, Martin Maldonado to Houston. And perhaps more to come. As Johan Camargo digs in, he's down 0-2. That one's put in play. And a long throw by Muncy right on the money. Almost a collision with Muncy and Taylor up the middle. Johan's the second out. And that'll bring up Ender, who's tonight's Bringing His Best feature, brought to you by Old Dominion, the official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
Last 4 games for Ender, he's really snapped out of it. 7 for 15. but he's drawn a couple of tough assignments. It'll be 4 lefties in a row for him to deal with, something he's struggled with this year to hit left-handers. But Chen, Hill, Kershaw, Alex Wood in succession.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does Clayton Kershaw top this? As good as Kershaw has been. Can't pitch any better than Rich Hill has, as that one's right off Ender's foot foul. And it's 0-2. Dodgers have to be a little cautious, or not a little cautious, but very cautious with Clayton Kershaw, who's missed time the last couple of years with a bad back. He threw 88 pitches in 6 innings against Milwaukee. Gave up 4 runs. Only 1 of those was earned. And 3-0, a 1.47 ERA lifetime for Kershaw against Atlanta. That one's hammered to right, and a running catch is made. Verdugo is the man on the mark. 3 up, 3 down as we go to the 8th. Chipper's Hall of Fame induction with a Chipper Hall of Fame poster pack with this ticket package. Fans get a limited edition Chipper Hall of Fame poster and a discounted $15 outfield ticket. Good for the July 30th through August 1st series against the Marlins. Head to braves.com/ChipperHoff and get your game ticket and your poster today. Want to wish Paul Bird, Gretchen Caney, the rest of our Fox Sports crew up in Cooperstown, New York. Good luck, best wishes for their coverage. We'll start chronicling every move Chipper and his family make as he makes his way to the dais on Sunday afternoon for his Hall of Fame induction in Cooperstown.
And the way I understood it, talking to Gretchen, Chipper's order and the way the speeches are given might be dictated by Taylor's pregnancy. If she's had the baby or if she hasn't. That if she hasn't, he may go first, even though it may not be alphabetical or what they had originally planned. Because that is, she's due any day.
I just think that was excellent timing by Chipper and Taylor, because you know when you have to give a big speech and you're nervous, you don't want to be the guy waiting and waiting and waiting to give the speech. So,
well, he could also just go to the podium and say, thanks Mom and Dad, thanks Braves, thanks Bobby Cox, gotta go.
That would go down as the greatest Hall of Fame speech ever. So what a wonderful weekend ahead for the entire Jones family. And you know, we've talked to Chipper a lot. We've seen Taylor here at the ballpark. I can't imagine the swirl of emotions that'll be going through the minds of his mom and dad, Larry and Lynn. And for as much as they have meant to Chipper Jones as parents and as baseball fans, and as Chipper called his mom the ultimate alpha female, and his dad the guy who taught him to switch hit and told him all about Mickey Mantle. This is their Hall of Fame induction too, as much a part of it as Chipper was. As Bellinger, who took over in center field a moment ago, takes a strike.
Sure it is. Any parent would feel that way.
So I can't wait to see all the footage from Cooperstown, and we at Fox are honored to be a part of it. We'll present it to you, Braves country, as soon as that footage starts to come in. 6-0 LA through 7. Luke Jackson, the fourth Braves pitcher. And Bellinger fouls it off. Mentioned Bellinger started the game at first base, has moved to center. He has actually started 23 games in center field for LA this year. And we mentioned the interchangeable nature of this Dodger roster. They told Manny Machado when they got him, you're not just going to play shortstop, you're going to play some third base too. And that has been the case. As Bellinger takes a walk, and that's how the 8th inning starts. LA's put the leadoff man on 5 times in the first 8 innings.
Luke Jackson gave up some runs, and Washington gave up a run in 1 inning. 3 hits and a run. That snapped a streak of 3 straight scoreless outings.
There's a strike. Dodgers trying to go a game and a half in front of Arizona. Arizona fell in Chicago 7-6 today.
They led that game 6-2 or 6-4, I think.
Did they?
Uh-huh.
Cubs start play 2.5 games in front of Milwaukee. The Brewers start a tough road trip. They've got 8 straight games. As that one almost picked off Bellinger. Taylor shoots it into right field. Markakis bobbles, but no further advance. And 2 are on, nobody out. But Milwaukee's got to go to San Francisco for 4 games. Then they go face the Dodgers for 4 games. And Jackson immediately in the soup here with nobody out. 2 on.
Now the Cubs got 3 in the 9th. Homers from, is it Bodie or Boat?
I think it's Bodie.
Bodie and Rizzo homered to rally the Cubs. They went back to back to win the game.
Big night for Verdugo. 2 hits, a run, and an RBI. And a strike called.
You know who he reminds me of standing there so nonchalant? Is who, Joe? Just had it. Adam LaRoche.
Oh, very good call. Yeah, he's as relaxed as can be until he decides to swing, and then it is a.
I give a lot of credit to whoever their chiropractor is, because they put so much torque on their backs the way they swing.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to find out who that is. To center. Ender on the run. He's got it. Bellinger's going to think about tagging, but he's going to head back to second. And he'll stand there with 1 out. 2 on, 1 away, 8th inning. Let's check in with Jerome for a game break.
Thank you, Chip. It's the Xfinity Game Break, and we take you up to Cincinnati, where Rhys Hoskins, his second home run of the day. Those Phillies are not going away, folks. It's 7-4. Phil's on top. They are in the 8th, fellas.
These Phillies are good. Rhys Hoskins is on a roll. Phillies just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They start play tonight a game and a half in front of the Braves. Atlanta could fall 2.5 back if they don't rally here. And Chase Utley grabs a bat. What an emotional series for Utley in Philadelphia, whose every move was greeted with a standing ovation at Citizens Bank Park.
As it should have been.
Utley announced that this will be his final season as a major league player.
He's 13 for 28. 13 for 28 as a pinch hitter. 5 RBIs.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot as you see what happened on Monday in Philadelphia. Even Zach Eflin stood in the back of the mound to let Utley saunter to the plate. That was great.
Great moment.
First, the 1-1 pitch. I have of a mind that if you're one of the great players in the era in which you played, for me, that's Hall of Fame worthy. Is Chase Utley a Hall of Fame player?
I have to check all those numbers. I've always loved the way he played, and one of the things he brought to the game every night was how hard he played. Dale Murphy would be in that same boat. That would, if you had a borderline decision to make, that wins you over. .258 home runs. How many's he got this year? Just one. 259. 1,000 RBIs. 1,000 runs scored. A career .276 average coming into this season. For that position, second base, it's pretty strong.
Right. And that's where you look at the numbers and you say, okay. There's the 3-1 pitch. Good numbers. Not 3,000 hits, not 400 home runs, but what he meant to that team, what he meant to that city, how durable he was. That's why I say great player in the era in which he played.
Yeah, he's going to have over 1,900 hits.
Got a full count here, and Jackson wants a new set of signs for Chase Utley in the Dodger 8th. That got him on the way by. Utley hit by a pitch. So Sam Freeman came on in relief for Sanchez. He faced 5 hitters. Excuse me, faced 4 hitters. 3 of those reached. Peter Moylan got the only man he was assigned in the 7th inning. Now Jackson's pitched the 8th. He's faced 4 hitters. 3 of those 4 have reached. Now Jock Peterson's going to hit with the bases loaded. And Chan found the name of the Dodger chiropractor, by the way. Dr. George Billauer is the Dodgers team chiropractor. He also is the chiropractor for the LA Galaxy.
Well, I would think that he'd be considered for team MVP right now. You watch these guys swing.
No balls and a strike. All Dodgers tonight. That's ricocheted off Jackson. Albies will shovel off target. Throw to first late. Bad throw off the screen. Freddie can't corral that, and a couple of runs are in.
What is going on here?
Well, Case trying to do a little too much, it looks like, defensively for Atlanta. And LA's got runners at first and second. 2 more runs are in. It's now 8-0.
Quick toss. Question is, was Charlie on the bag? Second base umpire Jeff Kellogg said he was not. And there will be no appeal on that.
So a very sloppy night for the Atlanta defense, as this game has gotten out of control after 4 terrific shutout innings of work from Sanchez and Hill. Dodgers have taken an 8-0 lead, and it's the end of the line for Luke Jackson. 8-0 as the Dodgers continue to bat here in the 8th inning.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Synovus, the bank of here.
Michael Reed's taken over in left field. Ronald Acuna's moved from left to center. Might see Acuna out there for Ender tomorrow against Clayton Kershaw. And Evan Phillips is the 4th Atlanta relief pitcher to work. Braves used 2 hurlers in the 7th. In relief, 2 so far here in the 8th inning.
I'm anxious to see Evan work more. A couple of outings, or just one outing on the road trip. 1 inning, 1 hit with a strikeout at Miami. And as you saw there, has not been in that many games total. This is just his 4th major league game. But he's inherited 4 runners in those outings. None have scored.
Hope that trend continues here. He's a ground ball away from a double play, perhaps, in getting out of the inning. As that one's downstairs. Well, a disappointing night for the Braves at the big league level, but boy, some good news down on the farm yesterday. How about Touki Toussaint? 8 scoreless innings of 2 hit ball, 8 strikeouts. He's given up 4 earned runs in 20 1/3 innings at AAA.
Might see him pretty soon.
In the air to right. Markakis will backtrack and make the play. No advance. As Utley is still at second base.
I was looking it up. You know, I remember Utley getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
That was the 202nd time he's been hit in his career.
Really?
3rd time this year.
Give that man a Target gift card for that pitch.
Right.
Austin Riley had a good night yesterday. Went 2 for 4. Scored a couple of runs. Wes Parsons is pitching for Gwinnett. He's 6-2, by the way, a sub-3 ERA. Kyle Wright, 8 innings of 4 strikeout ball at Mississippi. He's got 4 straight quality starts at AA.
Must have been dealing if he was allowed to go 8 innings.
27 innings in his last 4 starts. Drew Lugbauer had a 1 for 4 night for Rome. William Contreras scored 2 runs, went 2 for 4. Danville Braves 17-17. Gulf Coast Braves 12-16. Trey Harris went 3 for 4 for the Braves Gulf Coast League rookie squad. As Max Muncy bats with a 2-0 count. And that's in for a strike. Muncy 0 for 4. Phillies lead 8-4. That game's in the 8th inning in Cincy. Nationals 6, Miami 3, also in the 8th inning. Might be a do or die series for Washington. Swing and a miss, 2-2. It's tipped off. Suzuki's glove will do it again. 3 more with LA, then the Marlins come in. That gets us to the start of August. After the Marlins series, Braves head to New York for 4 games, then to Washington for 4. And a swing and a miss. Muncy chased a bad ball, and that helps Atlanta get out of further damage in the 8th inning. 2 more Dodger runs come across. Tomorrow night, Braves live at 7 o'clock. Mike Foltynewicz and Clayton Kershaw will hook up in Game 2 of the series. It'll be the Friday night showdown presented by Kaiser Permanente. Our coverage will continue on Fox Sports South.
Should be a very good matchup for those guys going at it.
This one was terrific through 4, but it's spun out of control. As you see, the Dodger defensive changes. Peterson, Bellinger, Verdugo left to right in the outfield. Machado, Taylor, Kike Hernandez at second. Muncy at first. Grandal continues behind the plate. And Joe Daniel Hudson will pitch in his 35th game.
Hard thrower, 94 to 96 fastball, slider, changeup. ERA elevated a little bit for him. As I said, the Dodgers are apparently looking for some bullpen help themselves.
Yeah, they miss Brandon Morrow, who did such an excellent job and then went to the Cubs, but Morrow's on the disabled list for Chicago. They got the 9th inning taken care of. Kenley Jansen's an excellent big league closer. But the story of this game was Rich Hill giving the Dodgers exactly what they needed. A deep start, 7 innings of 3-hit ball. And Joe mentioned that long game they had with the Phillies the other day, 16 innings. Sometimes that doesn't rear its ugly head until a couple days later. The effect it has on your pitching staff, your bullpen in particular. And they ran out of pitchers and had to use Kike Hernandez to finish off the game. And Hernandez served up the game-ending home run. And had at least a sense of humor about it on his social media pages. Joe, he had a picture of himself delivering a pitch with a big L, like the losing pitcher. As Trevor Plouffe hit a home run.
I didn't even know Trevor Plouffe was in the Phillies organization.
Michael Reed leads off and is behind 1-2. And fouled away into a crowd of 40,706. Braves tomorrow night will go over 1.5 million in attendance for the season. This is only the Braves' 46th home game.
Fewest in the majors.
One ball, 2 strikes, bases empty. And a shot to right field. That's down for a hit. And Reed hustles to first just in case Verdugo thought about making a peg to first base. So Reed with a single to start the inning. That's been a long time coming as a Brave. He's been on deck a couple times. He's had a couple of bats, and finally he's rewarded with a clean hit. So we go back to the top, and Ronald Acuna, who had seen enough of Rich Hill tonight. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Daniel Hudson's another guy who's battled arm trouble and been able to bounce back a couple of times from it. He's always had a good arm.
One ball, 2 strikes. That's down the right field line. Verdugo, long run, sliding try, slammed into the fence and comes up rather gingerly and is hopping his way back into right field. That wall and that fence came up very quickly, and he was at full steam ahead trying to make that play in the corner.
Like he banged his knee. You see what I'm saying? And I've been saying forever about why the padding should go all the way to the ground. That's just concrete below it, folks, and that's what he cracked into.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Years ago when I was doing the Cubs, they had Bill Miller as their third baseman in Chicago. He was having a great year. I think he was leading the league in hitting.
I remember.
And was playing third base at Old Busch Stadium and went down the third base line trying to make a catch on a pop-up just like Verdugo did, and he slammed his knee either into or just under one of those rotating signs at Busch Stadium. Again, concrete wall behind there. As that ball is walloped deep left center field, mammoth power by Acuna. That takes care of the shutout bid. That was hit a long way. Number 9 for Ronald, a 2-run homer.
Slider too. Great extension, no doubt.
So it's an 8-2 game. Nobody on or out. And Ozzie Albies the batter. But to finish the story on Bill Miller, he slid into that wall in St. Louis, shattered his knee, and was lost for the season. So I'm with you. I wish that there was more consideration given for the outfielders with that padding all the way down to the warning track. We saw a stadium, and I can't remember where it was, where it actually did go all the way down to the bottom of the field. I can't remember which ballpark that was, but that was a refreshing change. Verdugo still limping around out there trying to make sure that that knee doesn't stiffen up on him. As he chased it, didn't get it. A ball and 2 strikes. Braves have 2 runs, 5 hits. They have also committed 3 errors. LA 8 runs on 11 hits. LA has stranded 7. The Braves have left 5 on so far tonight. And a swing and a miss. Teams have gone up in that strike zone, and Ozzie's either swung out of the zone and missed, or he's not been able to catch up. That's tough to catch up to at 96 up there. And Albies strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, it's going to take a game or so for Ozzie, even no longer than he's been out, to get his timing back.
Freddie's reached on a hit. That was in the 4th inning. He's also come aboard on an error by Machado, whose throw to first base in the 6th inning with 2 outs sailed a little bit. Bellinger made the catch, but the ball came out of his glove, and it was Machado who earned the throwing error, not Bellinger on the drop. Freddie lines one the other way against the shift. He's beaten it twice. So a multi-hit game for Freeman tonight, his 35th of the year. And the Braves are liking what they see from Hudson so far.
Just trying to stay inside the baseball. That is all Freddie tries to do during batting practice. Good example of what it looks like watching him take BP earlier today.
Yeah. Nick Markakis, the batter, 0 for 2 with a walk. Braves have 2. They need a whole bunch more. Only got 1 out. Ball 1. How many times have Markakis and Hudson hooked up, I wonder? Let's see. Just 3 times. Nick is 1 for 3 against him. The man on deck, Kurt Suzuki's faced him 5 times and is 4 for 5. So let's see if Nick can reach. Almost did. 2 balls and a strike. That's line to the shortstop. Snap throw back to first, and Freddie is back. 2 outs. And it will be Suzuki with Freddie aboard. Kurt 1 for 3. Freeman's running, and this pitch is popped up. Taylor at short drifts out, says he's got it, and he does. And Atlanta spoils the shutout bid in the 8th inning, and Acuna homer, a 2-run shot. We go to the 9th. Spot for Atlanta offensively tonight. Let's take a look at his home run and our StatCast presented by AWS.
Got that foot down quickly and was all over that slider. Wasn't really a hanger. It was just spinning out over the plate a little bit. 436 feet, huh? Wow.
Quote the great Bill Murray in Caddyshack, which debuted I think 38 years ago or so. He got all of that one. So to the 9th we go. It'll be Grandal, Kike Hernandez, and then Bellinger. For LA, They lead 8-2. Pretty impressive run for the Dodgers. Every team seemingly has a real gauntlet they have to run through at some point during the season. Well, LA's kind of in the middle of that gauntlet. After the All-Star break, they go to Milwaukee. They win 2 out of 3 there. They go to Philadelphia, play the first place Phillies. They drop 2 out of 3. They come to Atlanta for 4 games. They then go home and have 4 with Milwaukee, 3 with the defending champion Astros in a rematch of the World Series. Then at Oakland, at Colorado, then the Giants. That gets them to August 17th. Then they got Seattle and St. Louis. So the Dodgers truly will be tested as they try to extend their lead out west. I assume, Joe, the rest of the division is brewing the opportunity to bury the Dodgers and deliver the postmortem after a very slow start for LA. As this one's grounded to first for the first out. At the end of play on May 8th, the Dodgers were 15-20 and 9 games out of first place.
Everybody had their chance.
Yep.
Couldn't throw any dirt on them. They've gone 40-20 since.
And have steadily made their way to the top of the division. They finally got it tied on July 5th. And if they can win this one, they'll be a game and a half ahead of Arizona. Here's Hernandez. Kike went 0 for 7 in that 16-inning game for LA, but he's not going 0 for tonight.
We were talking about that game flashback against the Pirates. It went 19 innings. Chan was looking up the box score on that earlier. Martin Prado went 0 for 9. Can you imagine?
Well, we say it all the time. The baseball gods have to be appeased, right? There's somebody that has to wear the 0 for, and that night it was Martin. 0 for 9. But one of the great bunts in baseball history by Scott Proctor.
Well, sort of a bunt, yeah.
Brought home Julio Lugo. And the Pirates went absolutely crazy. Just the stunned look of Michael McHenry after that call at the plate. And Lugo's celebration. I mean, he knew he was out, and then he stood up and said, "Oh, I'm safe, all right."
Oh, and then he had to jump back over and like, I don't even think I touched home plate. One of the worst calls ever.
So much so that the Pirates filed an official protest the next morning. As Bellinger lifts one towards center, Acuna comes charging in, and he's got it for the second out.
Had a way to run it out. Bellinger. He almost got to the running lane.
He did?
Almost.
Wow. Well, if he runs a little harder, we'll give him one of these great looking Braves lunch boxes. That's part of the
he may need one
back to school ticket package. Every one of those gets the customized Braves lunchbox, which features Freddie Freeman, an ender Inciarte, and a game ticket for Sunday's game. Go to Braves.com and get your tickets and your lunchbox today.
He must have run so hard, though, for 40 feet that he had to walk all the way back to the dugout because he was so tired.
Taylor on the ground to short, the shovel to second, and that'll retire the side. Evan Phillips, a nice job in relief, an inning and 2/3 of one hit ball, and the Braves are up for their last turn in the 9th inning. his induction into Cooperstown. August is Chipper Jones month. Couple of great giveaways coming up, including the Chipper Jones Crazy Train bobblehead presented by Napa Auto Parts. You push the button, it plays Crazy Train, and Chipper's head bobbles in excitement. Don't want to miss that here at SunTrust Park. If you're one of the first 20,000 through the gates on the 18th of August, that great giveaway could be yours. This is Pedro Baez, just back off the DL for the Dodgers. He is one of the slowest working relievers in baseball, but when he works, Joe, he's still pretty darn solid.
He may be slow, but it's not due to the lack of electricity in his fastball. He'll top out around 98. Slider, occasional changeup.
And he'll have Charlie Culberson to lead off. Charlie tonight is 0 for 3. And in for a strike. Homers are even tonight. Braves have hit one. The Dodgers have hit one. Not much else is even, however, in the other categories. LA leads at 8-2. They've wrapped out 12 hits. 3 more errors for the Braves, Joe. 6 errors in their last 2 games. That is uncharacteristic.
They only made 5 in the whole month of June.
So got to clean that up. As the 0-2 pitch is caught on and missed. Boy, that was boring in and under his hands. Nasty pitch from Baez. He strikes out his first batter faced.
Getting him back healthy will help their bullpen.
Camargo 1 for 3 tonight. Baez missed a month with biceps tendinitis. Averaging over 9 strikeouts per 9 innings this year. And has a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which is what you want your relief pitchers to have, especially in the late innings. Strikeout stuff plays, and good control plays even more, and he's got both. Johan will take a 6-game hit streak into play tomorrow against Clayton Kershaw. Mike Foltynewicz has the ball for the Braves. We'll have the Friday night showdown for you here beginning at 7 o'clock. Big crowds expected all weekend. If you haven't purchased your parking, pre-purchase your parking online at Braves.com, or consider rideshare services to get to SunTrust Park. We'll have fireworks after the game tomorrow night. And a squibber foul, almost an extra base hit.
With all the injuries to their rotation, including Clayton Kershaw, the guy that's really saved their bacon is the guy who made the All-Star team, Ross Stripling. 8-2, a 2.43 ERA. He stepped into the rotation and was terrific, picking up some of the slack. I guess he could be a nominee for Sunday.
Yeah, they've got 6 guys for 5 spots. As this one's popped up left side, that should be easy for the Dodgers. Machado is there. He's got it. 2 outs. They have Hill, Kershaw, Wood, Walker Buehler, Kenta Maeda, and Ross Stripling. The Dodgers have used a 6-man rotation from time to time, but Dave Roberts has said that's kind of a problematic, difficult thing to maintain. But right now, everybody in rotation pitching well, pitching effectively, and pitching deep into games. So that's a good problem for this LA club to have.
The only guy I believe that has not missed a turn is Alex Wood, the former Brave, who's 6-5, a 3.87 ERA, and 20 starts.
And he's going to pitch here on Saturday. That's a 7-10 start here at SunTrust. Braves cuffed Alex around out in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, you might recall.
They did that last year too when he was undefeated.
Hey, what did he start? 10-0, 11-0,
something like that. Yeah.
I'll look it up, get the exact number. It was real impressive. Alex won 16 games last year. Preston Tucker takes high, ball 2. He went 11-0. Alex Wood didn't lose a game until July 15th. The 19th pitcher since 1913 to start a year 11-0 or better. The first since Steven Strasburg went 13-0 in 2016 with Washington. 3 balls, no strikes. And Preston takes it, 3-1 the count. Phillies are up 9-4 in Cincinnati. Braves are staring at a 2.5 game deficit. Washington's going to gain a game on Atlanta in 3rd place tonight. Washington winning big in Cincinnati. There's a shot to right, and that's going to ricochet off the Coca-Cola sign. Tucker's going to try. Here comes the throw. It's going to be not in time. Tucker was thinking 2 out of the box. That was a close play, and he doubles with 2 outs.
Taylor's kind of tapping himself like that was his fault. Somehow he didn't get the tag on him. He whiffed right here. He kept following him. A sure sign that he missed the tag. Good call by Jeff Kellogg. Good throw by Verdugo. That was ripped. Oh, come on, really?
Well, every pitch they can save Baez if this is overturned. And look, Joe, it's a play at second base. I'm sure the Dodgers have scouted out the Braves' troubles on replay at second.
Yeah.
So you might as well take your chances here.
You know they've got the statistical analysis on the Braves' success rate.
Which ain't too good.
No.
I mean, there was a little swipe there. I don't know if he touched the jersey or not. If he did, it was by the
If he did, he
slightest.
didn't even know it.
Well, yeah, that's what I say.
He chased him.
Right there. Did his uniform top move with the tag, or was that Tucker sliding in and the natural movement of the jersey?
And even Taylor, after this play, and kept chasing him. He gave the ball back to the pitcher and tapped his chest like that was my fault. I should have tagged him.
Well, almost certainly you would think there's not enough evidence to change this call at second base. But let me tell you something. I am not betting the mortgage.
No, I just find it hard to believe in an 8-2 game with 2 out in the ninth that Dave Roberts felt like it was compelled to say it was that important.
Well, my guess is with Baez just coming back, this is more about potentially saving pitches for Baez than anything else. If you get it overturned, he's done at 12 pitches. The game's over. And the verdict. Not in yet. And the longer it takes, that's usually bad news for the Braves. Okay, he is. All right. He's safe. It was a good throw, but a short arm tag try by Taylor. So no clear and convincing evidence to confirm or overturn the call, which means they don't know either. So the umpire's call at second base will stand. So here's Michael Reed. He's already got a single. He scored ahead of Acuna's homer an inning ago. Wonder if we'll see Michael get a start in the outfield with Clayton Kershaw and Alex Wood the next 2 nights.
Certainly might. That was not Reed's first hit that you saw earlier tonight. First hit as a Brave, but not in the big leagues.
Pedro Baez was originally an infielder. He was converted to pitching for the 2013 season for the Dodgers. In 6 minor league seasons as a position player, he had 45 homers, appeared in 2 All-Star Futures games.
No kidding.
And had a .248 average as a third baseman, and was rated by many scouting services as having the Dodgers' best infield arm. Well, not surprisingly,
Yeah.
he can really bring it.
Well, gives you another bat on the bench.
That's right. That's right. A swing and a miss by Reed. The Braves are down to their last strike. Two balls, 2 strikes. Line to center, but Bellinger's there, and that's your ball game. The Dodgers win game 1 of the series by an 8-2 final score. This one started with Rich Hill of the Dodgers. He was magnificent over 7 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. The Braves were broken in the 5th inning when some leaky defense got things started, Joe. 3 Atlanta errors, a big part of the story too. And the Braves have now fallen to 1-3 so far against the Dodgers this year.
Yeah, you know the Braves want to see that defense tightened up a little bit beginning tomorrow, and hopefully Mike Foltynewicz will be on his game, but it'll be fun to watch. Kershaw and Foltynewicz.
And we will see you at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Braves Live to preview Game 2. We'll recap Game 1 on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity next.